to another video. Today's topic is all about what you must be doing for at least 20 minutes every single day to move your life to the next level. So stick around with me for that one. I'm gonna quickly pop over into Instagram because I thought I was live, but I'm not. Here we go. All right, so we are live on both Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And as again, let me just repeat, today's topic is what you must be doing for at least 20 minutes per day in order to move your life to the next level. So, are you ready for that? Then let's jump right into it. Now, if you're like me, then when you were growing up, your parents, your caregivers, or whoever it was told you that you need to ensure that you get a good education. That's definitely something that my mother drilled into me, and she ensured that that happened to the point where even when I didn't have money to go to school, she would borrow it and send me to school. Even when we didn't have school fees, she would figure out a way to get it done. When I didn't know how to buy books, we would rent books or borrow books from somebody who was 3 years ahead of me in school. But in some way or the other, mommy was going to find the money to send me to school. And even to the point when I graduated from high school, I wasn't an A student, but I graduated okay. And we didn't have money to go to college. $0. We took out a student loan. There were bank loans. There were loans from friends, loans from church members, loans from every person you could think of, right? We didn't have any money, but my mother was making sure that I must go to college, I must get a degree, and at the end of that, it should translate into a high paying job because in her mind, she wanted life to be better for me, right? And that's all good and well. And you look inside of our culture, well, at least in my generation, that is what is taught to us. And so we have that instilled in our brains for 18, 20 plus years, and we don't know any better. We don't know any different. And we look at the rich getting richer and wondering, why am I not getting richer? We look at people progressing in their careers and doing amazing things in the world. And in our minds, we're like, I can't do that because I'm just doing this job. I got my degree. Yeah, I'm great. I have this job. And then there are times when you realize that there's something more deep down that you really, really want to do. And the truth is, there is more to learning than just what you were taught in schools. There's more to learning than what you learn in high school, what you learn in college, even if you have a PhD, the highest PhD in the world. There is more to learning than just that. So when I realized that earlier on in life, how old was I? I think I was about 24, 25, somewhere there, right after the time that we got married. I realized that there was so much more to learn that I couldn't learn in the formal education system. And my husband and I, we decided at that point that we were going to figure out a way to understand how the rich got rich. We were going to figure out a way out of poverty because we were both poor. We were going to figure out how are we gonna die empty. We are not gonna die with any potential locked up inside of us. We are not gonna die with any untapped wealth. And we just had to figure that out. So we went on a learning quest. And among a lot of things, we went to seminars, we went to workshops, we went to networking events, all sorts of events we went to. But the one major thing that I can pinpoint to this day that I credit a lot to my transformation, how I moved out of a household of poverty, how I married to a man that came out of a household of poverty and moved into the life of abundance that we are living today, amassing real estate, being able to build my own business, being able to make decisions with the freedom that I've always dreamed about. The one thing that I can credit to that is reading. books. And I'm going to share with you my strategy of how I actually get that done. So one of the very first books I read is actually about money. Actually, I read three of them. I read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and this was about a decade ago, more than a decade ago. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and I'm revisiting that book for this coming month of September. I also read The Millionaire Next Door, and I also read Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Now, after reading those books, how I was introduced to those books, I was in a network marketing company, and those were on the book list of things that you must read. And so we read them and we were intrigued. And those three books changed our mindset around how we viewed money. We realized at that point that we had a negative viewpoint around money. And we also deduced that the wealthy built wealth through two major endeavors. One was through real estate, and the other one was through a business. And it was in that moment, in reading those books, that we decided as a couple that we were going to do those two things. We were going to build wealth through a business, and we were also going to build wealth through real estate. Now, just imagine two young kids. One was fresh out of college with his degree. The other one had dropped out of college with zero degree, newly married, and just excited about real estate and being excited about starting a business. None of us had a business degree. None of us had any business training. You understand? I'm married to an engineer, a teacher, and an engineer. Imagine that combination. And so it was a journey. But after we read those books literally changed our mindset. It changed our thinking, and we realized that it was possible. And after reading those books, we went on experience after experience, just trying to figure out how to build this thing called wealth and make this thing called more money. And we tried a lot of things. We failed at many things. We got scammed on the internet, all sorts of things. But during that process, we were able to figure out what worked and what did not work. And a 10+ year journey has taken us to this day where I can truly see my way towards living the abundant life that I dream of. So over the past few years, I've adopted that. And I think I really took it seriously in 2019 that I really want to read more. Because I was reading on and off, before that, not so great at it. But in 2019, what happened is that I went on a journey of discovery. I quit my job in 2017. If you haven't heard that story yet, here it is. Quit my job in 2017. 2018, I was pregnant, gave birth to my second child. And in 2019, after going through a bout of depression, I was just trying to figure out who Julia was, what Julia wanted to do for the rest of her life. And so for the entire 2019, that was my year of learning. I was going to workshops, I was going to seminars, I was going to conferences. Anything popped up in the media, I was showing up, whether it was paid or free. And I realized during that time that every time I went to a new conference, it felt like I was wasting my time. Why I said that? Because the conference before had already filled me up, and I was putting a lot of those strategies into action. And the next conference you go to, different speakers, same message. And I was like, oh, okay, I heard this at the last conference. Maybe there was something new, but it wasn't as exciting as it was before. So the more conference after conference I went to, I realized that I needed to explore more. And that's when I decided to seriously go back to thinking about reading books. And so I started, my goal was to do one book per month. Didn't know how I was going to do it because I wasn't an avid reader. And so I thought about the 3 books that I had read. I said, maybe I should start there. And then I saw a colleague, an influencer here in Jamaica was selling a book, and it was a really tiny book. Nicole McLaren Campbell's book that she wrote for the very first time, Make It Count. And I bought that. That book was like 10 pages. I'm kidding. It was more than that, but it was really, really short. And when I opened that book, And I paired it with another book that I was reading at the time, Abundance Now by Lisa Nichols. That's an amazing book, guys. You definitely need to read it. I credit that book by Lisa as the book that transformed my life. Rich Dad Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, The Millionaire Next Door transformed my mindset around money. Abundance Now by Lisa Nichols transformed the rest of my life. And when I read that book, I was like, oh my God, this is just so much. I am amazed by the content. Why did I not learn this before? How didn't anybody tell me all of this before? And I just really needed to dig deep and use the information and apply it to my life. And that's exactly what I did. And since that time, my goal has been to read one new book per month. I've upped my goal this month. I'm now reading 2 books per month. I'm taking it in strides. But every single time I read a new book, some messages are the same, some lessons are the same. But because I'm taking up different books in different genres for different things, I am learning so much. Like, I'm downloading so much into my psyche and implementing those principles, the strategies from the books into my life, into my business, into my family, into my finances. I have watched my life change drastically in the past 3 years than it did any other season of my life. So I want to encourage you to do 2 things. One, pick a book right now and read. I am going to highly recommend Abundance Now by Lisa Nichols. If you start nowhere else, start there. That's a good book to read. And as a matter of fact, that's the book we just went through together inside of my Position for Purpose program. We have a book club where we pick a book every single month. We review it, we go through it, and we see how we can apply the principles to our lives. So pick a book. You can start with that. You can start with any other you choose. But here's my strategy for getting in 2 books per month, a minimum of 2 books. Now, I've been doing this before, but I wasn't as effective with following through. Like the 20 minutes per day. I'm going to show you how I get the 20 minutes per day. So I block out 20 minutes per day. As a matter of fact, it's now 30 and not 20, but I started at 20. So I block out 20 minutes per day. Some days I do it, some days I don't. So, and that's why one whole book took me a whole month. But in order for you to get in at minimum 2 books, here's what you can do. So I had to take an inventory of my day to see exactly how I was spending my time. And I have some Post-it notes upon my wall, just marking that out. And so I had to shuffle things around. I was either going to get up 20 minutes earlier or go to bed 20 minutes later. And I like my 8-hour sleep. So that was out of the picture, at least for now. I sleep between 6 to 8 hours every single night. I'm not depriving myself. I see the comments coming in, guys. I'm coming to them. I don't have on my glasses, y'all. But so I just looked at how my days were and decided that I'm going to create an inventory or do an audit. That's the better word, do an audit of my time. And I looked at how I was spending my time, how I was allotting my time. And I had to carve out 20 minutes out of that to ensure that I'm dedicating that session to book reading. So how do I make book reading easy? For a lot of people like to read in the mornings. Some people like to read as they're strolling through the day. What I used to do before quarantine was I used to have my audiobooks, and I still do audiobooks, and I would listen to them in the van as I am driving the kids to school, when I'm going to pick them up in the afternoon, on our way back if it's not too noisy, or whenever I'm alone in the car. When I used to drive a lot before quarantine, I would get a lot in. And so I didn't really necessarily have to find a block of time. But when quarantine hit, I realized that much of the time that I had was taken away from me. And so I had to carve out that 20 minutes slot. And so right before bed, I have at least an hour that I do self-care, hour to an hour and a half that I do self-care. And a part of my self-care, I've slotted out 20 minutes out of that time for reading. So this happens literally right before bed. So once I'm done bathing, doing my facial routine, doing my body care, all the works, I sit down or lay down on my bed with my headphones plugged in, my phone right by my side, and I set my alarm for 20 minutes. And I just sit there soaking. As a matter of fact, I sit with my notebook and my pen as well. This is my little notebook. My notebook and my pen is there with me. So as I'm reading, if I need to pause something and take notes, I do that. But here's the trick, guys. And not everybody can do this, because every single time I do it around somebody, they're like, how you do that? I can't even hear anything. I listen to audiobooks at 2x speed. Yes, I listen to audiobooks at 2x speed. So my first choice is always an audiobook, and I listen to it at 2x speed. So if it's an 8-hour book, I'm done in 4 hours. If it's a 12-hour book, I'm done in 6 hours. And I pause when I need to make notes. And every now and again, I might need to slow it down to catch something that's really good, but it does not affect the quality of my reading. And so in 20 minutes, I've literally gotten 40 minutes of reading in. So if you are able to read at 2x speed like I am, here's how your 20 minutes can work out for you. And I'm going to put on my glasses, you see, because I worked it out on my screen. And I wanted, okay, so 20 minutes per day, right? At 2x speed, that's 1 6-hour book. So if a book is 6 hours long, you can literally read an entire book at, that's normal speed for the entire month. Now, on average, most books, like the one I just read, I believe it was about 12 hours. Yeah, the one we read last month was about 12 hours. So 1 6-hour book, on average, books would range from anywhere to 6 to 10 hours, but 1 6-hour book will last you an entire month if you're reading on average from 20 minutes. However, if you decide to double up and do 2x speed like I do, you can read a 12-hour book in 1 month, or 2 6-hour books in 1 month. And if you're really, and this is just, by the way, this is only 5 days per week. This is not the entire 7 days. I worked out the math, right? So if you can commit to 20 minutes every single day for 5 days out of the week, you can get a personal development book in. It could be on any topic. Like my reading list covers an array of topics. It covers my marriage, it covers finances, it covers my spirituality, it covers personal development, it covers leadership, all kinds of books in various different niches. So pick one or pick two and slot out 20 minutes every single day to get it in. Now, one person suggested that if you can't find a 20-minute slot inside of your day, set your alarm 20 minutes earlier. It's easier to set the alarm and wake up 20 minutes earlier than to try and sneak it in at the end and go to bed 20 minutes later, because you're probably going to be too tired in order to get it done. So set your alarm 20 minutes earlier if you have that challenge, and just decide that you just rush to the bathroom, wash your face to wake up your body, maybe you need to drink a cup of water, and then you go straight to the book, wherever your last bookmark is, and start reading. So what I want to know from you is, which book are you going to be reading next? Please tell me in the comments, because here's the thing. I'm looking for books for 2022. Next year, I'm making my list already for next year. My list for this year is complete. And so I've already scheduled in 2 books for September, 2 for October, 2 for November, and 2 for December. So I have 8 books to cover before the end of the year. So I'm making my list for next year, and I need some suggestions. So I want you to just drop in the comments. If you're watching the replay, please go ahead and do that. I actually shared a post on this inside of on my social media pages as well. So drop in the comments, tell me which book you're reading so I can check them out and see whether or not it's something I want to jump into as well. So right now I'm going to jump into the comments to see what's going on. Hey mama, you need a book? I gave you all books to read. My mother is watching my live, guys, and she's telling me she needs a book. I have a lovely family session with them where I go through certain principles about life. And so I've assigned each of them, I've assigned everybody actually the same book. to read as well. Let me check the comments and then we're gonna close out today. Iana says abundance now is amazing. Yeah, we did that one inside of Position for Purpose, and everybody was like, man, Julia, you dropped the bomb on us. We definitely have to go read this all over again. Some of them were saying they need to read it 2 or 3 more times to really let it soak in. And that's true. Shadeen, you read at 2x speed as well. Yep, 2x speed is the boss. I can't listen to books. I prefer to literally read them. Oh, okay. That's your preference. That's your preference, and that's okay. The thing about me and reading books is that after a while, the lines start to get blurry. I was just forever grateful the day they invented audiobooks because I never like physically reading. I get bored just looking at black and white. And I think my son is the same way because he only likes picture books. At 7, he still wants pictures in his books. Shadeen says, great idea about waking up earlier. Yes. Okay. A book suggestion here is Atomic Habits. I read that one already. It's amazing. It's long. It is long. When I tell you that book is long, it's long, but it really, really is amazing. I was able, let me tell you how that book helped me. It's something that I have to constantly do, but ever since I was a young girl, I've had an issue biting my fingernails. And I didn't know how to stop. I had no idea how to stop. And every now and again, I realized that what caused it is my anxiety. Probably I should just do a live about this. Let's talk about it on Thursday now. Shadeen, we're going to talk about it Thursday, how I was able to get over my anxiety and my nail biting issues. It's still a process for me, but let's talk about that Thursday now. So Thursday's live is going to be how I not get over, how I manage my anxiety with the use of the principles inside of that book. Let's do that. You're still reading it. That's a really long book, isn't it? Trust me, that book is heck of a long. I remember I read that book, audio, of course, on a journey across Jamaica. And we were making stops after stops and after stops. And I was like, dang, this book ain't gonna finish. But it was so good that I couldn't stop reading. It really is amazing. All right, so let me know in the comments, which book are you reading now? I'm going to use your suggestion to make my 2022 list. And join me on Thursday to learn how I got over my nail biting anxiety. Not got over, keep saying that. I manage my nail biting anxiety with the use of a book. Literally, with the use of a book. All right, so that's it for today, guys. See you on Thursday at noon. All the best. Stop scrolling on social media now. Log out of this video. Go decide which book you're going to read and spend the rest of your lunch time, your afternoon time, your winding down time, and just read the introduction. It's going to do you good. It's literally going to change your life. All right, toodles. I'll see you next time.